Hello, you. Oops. How are you? Hopefully you're doing good. Let me check. I think every live stream that I have that's how I started. I always say, let me check. And people get excited. Yeah. All right. I believe sound is great. There are 2 people here. And that's super duper exciting. I'm very excited that there's 2 people here. Thank you, whoever is here. Please like, including I'm gonna like it. You gotta like, you gotta subscribe, you gotta comment, you gotta do all these things. All right? And the camera is not really doing that great. Let's fix it. And I have a whole bunch of stuff behind me which you can see, which is unfortunate. But it is what it is. I should have done that before I did the live, and I didn't. Completely forgot. That's how excited I am to come on here and see you. All right, how are you? How are you? Whoever's here, how are you doing? Where are you? Actually, I never ask people where they are. Is anyone in New York? And New York is interesting right now. It's very interesting what's happening, the events that are unfolding in New York. But I'm not here to talk to you about politics, am I? Not here to do that. I actually wanted to talk to, hello, Tam. Salam alaikum. To Noor. Noor from Arabian Desert. Noor. Noor means light in Arabic anyway. Is the music too loud, Tam? I feel like it is. It's very chanty. It's like a chant. Yeah. Interesting times. I decided to come on here to talk about meditation, which isn't really very super duper exciting. But there's very little interest in meditation in the mainstream anyhow. And when you do start to talk about meditation to people check out and they lose interest pretty fast. And I really don't know what people view meditation as. I know I wasn't interested in it before the entire world shut down and I had nothing else to do. But after I did it, and I struggled in the beginning, it became, I don't want to say addictive, but I became more and more interested in continuing to do it, and it was a battle. It was a big battle, which I believe is what a lot of people encounter when they sit down and attempt to meditate. They want to immediately experience what the experience is, and then they can, I don't know, if they think that it's just a one-time thing, or I really don't know. When I was introduced to meditation and I was in massage school, the instructor did a very, very poor job in explaining what meditation is, in explaining what the benefits are, be it on a spiritual level, be it on a physical level, be it on an emotional level, be it on a like mental, psychological, any benefits, anything. They didn't explain. And they also did a very poor job in introducing meditation to a bunch of people who probably knew nothing about it. They kind of threw us, at least from my own personal experience, we were thrown into the deep end. Like they started talking about energy and this and visualizations. And I'm like, okay, I have pain in my back right now. Just from sitting on the hard floor. There were no cushions. Anyhow, it was just poorly done. And this was in a sort of, massage school where people claim to be spiritual. The instructor himself didn't know what the hell he was doing. So I took it upon myself after I began to meditate to take mental notes of the different phases, of the different sort of milestones that you hit. Is meditation always going to be the same? Are you always, is it just a struggle with your thoughts? Because nobody wants to sit down every day to fight with their thoughts and fight with themselves. Is there, a difference between when I began to meditate 5 years ago during COVID and today when I sit down to meditate? I also took it upon myself to take a course on meditation. I'm a meditation instructor now. And I also took it upon myself to create an entire tier in my Patreon, which is linked. And if it's not, I'll make sure to link it. Focused on meditation alone. And I introduce you as an individual, to meditation. And I talk to you about the issues that you might encounter, how to solve them. Things I was never told, things the average human being probably is not told when they sit down and they close their eyes and they start to experience the process of meditation, and then they get hit with their thoughts. A very, very, very unpleasant thing to go through, especially if you're very hard on yourself, which the majority of us are. We are our own worst enemies. So when you sit down and your first experience with meditation is not the best, like it was for me, you hate it, you never want to do it again, and you judge yourself because you failed at the first experience. I'm only talking from the perspective of someone like me who went through a very negative experience first time when I meditated. Now, after I gave you this intro, I would like to share my personal experience with meditation, which is why I am on here today, hoping that this video would land in front of someone who would like to try meditation, but is disheartened by their own experience, or they're afraid, or they blah, 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 blah. The usual excuses are, I don't have time, or my thoughts, I can't get rid of my thoughts. So I'm just going to stop. So I guess the comparison that I recently gave somebody here where I live, because I wanted them to experience meditation, is you don't sit down to play the piano for the first time and you put out a Mozart. You don't put out a masterpiece. You just don't. It doesn't happen. It takes time, it takes practice. But what people don't tell us is what the end result of meditation is going to be. Why do I need to sit down every day for 5 to 10 minutes, close my eyes, fight with my thoughts? Why? So first off, meditation in itself, you don't have to sit still. There's a lot of different ways to meditate. There's meditative dance, by the way. There's also meditative walking. There are different ways to meditate if sitting still is really an issue for you. That's the first thing that I'd like to put out there, should it help anyone. The other thing is, like I told you, my first experience was extremely negative. But when I finally sat down to commit, with the intention of committing somewhat to meditation, it was difficult because I was raised in an extremely harsh and judgmental society and environment. And as such, I judged myself harshly because I would always engage in thought. It's very difficult to come out of your head. It is very difficult to understand that you are not your thoughts. These are concepts that were very new to me, and these are concepts that are probably unheard of and unspoken of to the average Joe Blow, to the average person who knows nothing about spirituality, who works 9 to 5, who has kids, who's busy in life, right? They don't know how to get out of their own head, and they believe their thoughts. Their thoughts are everything. Their belief systems are everything to them. So getting out of your mind, knowing that you're not your beliefs, you're not who you think you are, you're not what you were taught in school, You're none of it. Is just they don't know. They're like, okay, this is not important. I have to go to work. You know, they live in a reality that is the only thing they've ever known. The idea or the concept that there might be another reality outside of our minds and outside of our senses is crazy. It's cuckoo. You go take medication for the stuff where you get laughed at by society. So for me, it wasn't always easy because I judged myself constantly. And whenever I had, like in the beginning, the dark nights of the soul are heavy duty, and they're intense and they're frequent. When you enter the door of the spiritual world, when you knock on that door and you open it and you start looking through, you know, it's just a little bit open and you're looking through it. It's overwhelming, and the camera has gone hazy. All right. Sorry. What was I saying? The opening of the door into the meditative experience, which eventually opens up the door into spirituality, a world we know nothing about, the majority of us, a world that we are sort of trained to mock and laugh at and call woo woo. It's just a world that's not real. It's not where we can pay the bills. This is where we pay the bills here. Working hard every day, think, not a minute of sitting still outside of sleeping. So it was very difficult for me. But again, I guess I was lucky enough. I was one of the people who spiritually woke up during COVID. And if you live in a country like Canada, COVID lasted years. I realized other parts of the world didn't even, like Africa, the entire continent of Africa, didn't lock down. They didn't do any of the stuff that happened in the West, especially Canada. Canada was up there for COVID mandates, COVID lockdowns, the extension of the lockdowns, how it affected everyone's lives. Canada was shut down for a good chunk of 3, verging on 4 years. And you can still see the effects of COVID now, 5 years, we're going into 6 years after the fact. So I was, I guess, lucky enough, if you want to call it that, I was lucky enough to have quite a bit of time, quite a chunk of time, to go through all the blocks that the average human being doesn't have the time to go through, or at least they think they don't have the time to go through. The other thing that people say is outside of I don't have time is my thoughts. I can't. Like, I get bombarded with thoughts because I'm sitting still and I can't not engage them. You can, actually. That's the entire concept. That's the entire thing, you know, about meditation. It's to teach yourself to stop engaging your thoughts. So when you sit down to meditate and you find yourself being bombarded with your thoughts and you can't escape them, that should actually signal to you that you need to stick to it, that you need it. Now, 5 years later of meditating, I can tell you that I have my days where I cannot disengage my thoughts. Now, for me personally, I look at engaging thoughts in a manner very similar to what you would look, let's say you're out on a date with someone fresh. This is not someone you've lived with for a while. This is someone you're interested in. They're interested in you. The situation is in its early days. You going out on a hot date with them, and what do? You grab your phone. Where's my phone? It's not here. You grab your phone and you start texting. Oh, yeah. Wait, let me check. Doing this on a second date or a third date or a first date, that's a date killer right there. And that's how I look at engaging my thoughts, scrolling, clicking, checking my phone when I'm in a concert or in counsel with my higher self. That is how I have learned to discipline my mind to not engage thoughts. No, no, not now. This message can wait. No, not now. I'm going to mute you. You're on mute. You're on silent because I'm busy. I'm busy right now with this person. This person is very important to me, and I want to focus on them. And that person is actually my higher self. That's how I view my higher self, which is who I engage, who I encounter when I meditate. And my higher self, and being in its presence and communicating with it, or not, just feeling its presence, is so important to me. And it's more important than any message. So my phone, my thoughts are put away. I don't enter a meditative state with thought. I'm going to start thinking. That's not at all. Now, like I said, I do have my days still. But even when I do have bad days that I'm engaging thought or a negative emotion or an emotion in general, if I can't steer it to help me connect with my higher self, I end that meditation. Usually when I'm feeling joyous, when I'm feeling happy, when there are thoughts of joy and happiness, I run fast to meditate and engage my higher self and try to direct the thought and the emotion towards my higher self, because this is the state I like to be in when I meditate. Let's backtrack. Sorry, I can talk about meditation for days, which is why I have an entire tier about it in my Patreon. Just FYI, if you are interested in meditating and you struggle, please do consider that tier. It will help you. Back to the struggle. Again, I had the luxury of time. I wanted to know what this realm is beyond my thought. Even though I struggled a lot with my thoughts, and I would enter days. There was a period of weeks where I stopped meditating. Don't be surprised if you begin to meditate and then you drop it. Just leave the door open a little bit for you to come back to it and revisit it again. You're going to find that the process changes for you. It's not always going to be the same experience every single time. It changes because you allow more and more and more of your light in each time you sit down to meditate. When you allow more of your light in simultaneously, more of the blockages, more of the gunk, more of the shadow will leave you. Sometimes it will leave you uneventfully. Sometimes you have to go through what is known as the dark night of the soul. For me, dark nights of the soul last weeks. I just passed through one that lasted almost a full month. And I've been meditating for 5 years. Dark nights of the soul in the beginning are intense. The beginning of your meditative practice can be intense. They can scare you. I would urge you to go through them with an open heart, with an open mind, whatever comes out for you. For me, there was a lot of physical ailments. I got sick a lot. To be honest with you, I reached a point where I didn't think I was going to survive. The illnesses, I thought they were going to end my life. And then I had, I don't know how woo-woo you want me to get, but I had a healing. I had a meditative experience that happened to me just as I was entering sleep. And I knew no doctor was able to figure out what was wrong with me. I just knew it was like a drop in my mind what the problem is. And I was told what to do about it. And I did. And I fixed it. And I haven't been sick since. And that's what I mean by a healing. Physician, heal thyself. You are given insight into whatever it is that needs to be dealt with from the inside, from the higher realms, from your higher self. So like I said, the medical system had pretty much stopped. No one gave a shit anymore for me. And I was able to know what they didn't know. Not only that, but thanks to my own medical background, I was able to fix the problem. So this not only applies to physicalities, it also applies to mental issues, emotional gunk, which is traumas, loops that you're stuck in, emotional burdens, mental burdens, whatever it is that you need to deal with, you will deal with because of your initiation of the process of meditation. Go through what you need to go through, take as much time as you need off, heal yourself, but still, please, I would urge you to come back to the meditative process. For me, after about a year, somewhere between a year to 2 years of meditation, I stabilized. Like in the beginning, it was like rough. It was like ups and downs. And then you sort of hit a plateau. You're still going up, but it's plateaued. It's not, the drops aren't as bad anymore. You'll go for like a period of 5 months where everything's beautiful and your meditations are amazing and you get incredible insight. And then you're going to dip. And that dip is going to be hard, but you're just going to automatically come back to meditation. You're just going to know that this is right for you. Not only that, but you would have, I guess, made it enough of a habit at this point. There's enough neurons in your mind that will take you back with ease to continue on to meditate than it would be for you to say, fuck this shit, I'm done. Especially after a year of commitment to this process. You're not going to let it go with ease. Again, take breaks. If you consider not meditating a break. I've reached a point where meditation is the break. Meditation is the freedom. Meditation is the reprieve. You know what I mean? Like, I can't wait to meditate every day. I can't wait. Like, I'm like, woohoo, time to meditate. It's like my time of the day, my me time. But in the beginning, doesn't feel that way. It feels like a burden. It feels, oh, I don't have time to sit down and meditate. I have to make time. So all of that is going to shift and change for you because meditation, it's a dance with yourself. It's a building of a relationship with yourself in a manner that society has not taught us, in a manner that is mocked and laughed at, and you're looked at as like, oh, look at this weirdo, they're going to go meditate. You know what I mean? Or they shame you, or whatever it is society does. Maybe I'm being too hard on society. I don't know. I'm just painting the worst case scenario because I have yet to meet anyone who wants to meditate. I don't feel complete on days I don't get time to meditate. Same. Same, Tam. Same, honey. But again, like, I consider myself, I don't want to say advanced. I'm advanced. I'm an advanced meditator. I've only been meditating for 5 years. There's people, I know someone who's been meditating, I guess he started meditating at 14 or somewhere around there, and now he's in his mid-30s. So in my eyes, he's advanced. But meditation is also a very personal process. And some people get out of it in a day more than what other people get out of it in a year. It depends on how open you are to the process. Depends on how you do it. It depends if it's become just a routine for you. You know what I mean? You just do like for me, when I was living under Islam in Saudi Arabia, I had to pray. I don't see meditation as prayer, though it could be. But prayer for me was very automatic. And it was soul, it put a cloud on my soul rather than elevate me towards my soul. And I know prayer is not like this for everyone, but for me, prayer was a burden. Prayer was just horrible because it was so automated. You had to say these words. You had to do this. You know what I mean? Now, meditation is a ritual for me. I do have my things that I do, but I don't do them out of automaticity. I do them because they help me in the process of meditation. So, for example, my senses need to be completely engaged during meditation. I don't want to hear anything that can distract me. Although I've also reached a point where I can meditate while there's drilling happening outside. But there's usually high frequency, loud music playing when I meditate. Uh, and my smell, the sense of smell has to be engaged. So there's incense burning. I also have my ritual oil that I put on to further elevate me. Taste, there's not much you can do. I usually brush my teeth and make sure that I'm very well hydrated, but I don't chew on gum while I'm meditating. I don't eat while I'm meditating. What's left? So hearing, sight. Again, very bright, big mandala that's moving in front of me, and the lights have to be pulsing. So the majority of my senses are engaged, and I'm focused on what I am what I'm doing, the meditative exercise. I do this because this is what helps me to meditate, not because just, autopilot. I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna sit here. You know what I mean? And meditation becomes personal to you because as soon as you connect with your higher guidance, with your higher self, it will eventually, as you continue to receive your light, because that's what happens through meditation, you will develop a dialogue with whatever entity, your higher self that you connect with, and that dialogue will take you places. For me, I have given my higher self full green light to use my vessel, my body, to enter me, because that's what I want, because I wanted to impact this world through me. So whatever that will look like for you, you might find that you begin to do automatic writing after you meditate. You might find that you receive a gift or an ability like light language. Some people hear sounds. Their higher guidance, Lee Harris, I think I've mentioned him before, his guides speak to him. And I'm presuming he's in an intense meditative state in order to hear them and communicate. I don't hear anything. It's more of a psychic with me. Like I get guidance, I get input, an epiphany, aha moments, I get ideas, concepts. But again, this is a very personal relationship between you and the guidance that you connect with. It depends on what you want. It depends on how much you allow your guidance to come through and how much you act on it. I hope I'm not babbling too much. I'm trying to just share my own personal experience, whereas usually I have notes to keep it structured, but I'm gonna try not to divert outside of the topic of meditation and sharing my own personal experience with you. Now, 2 days ago, I sat down to meditate, and something different happened. The something different that happened, as I have deepened the exercise of meditation throughout the years with my higher self, as I have cleared the blockages, as I have healed, as I have allowed more and more and more of my light to come in. And I've had one entire episode where I believe I connected with source energy itself. Or I guess you reach the state of nirvana or samadhi. What happened to me 2 days ago is I, for the first time, allowed my higher self to access more than just my mind. Because the mind, the realm of the mind, is the first battlefield that you will encounter during the process of meditation. And once you release the realm of the mind and you allow yourself to go beyond it, to connect with your higher guidance, with the higher realms, you will encounter emotions that you need to release. And then you will encounter other blockages, physical, like I've not experienced my higher self on a physical level. I allow it to come through my mind. I allow it to come through my emotions, where you mostly feel love towards humanity. But I've not allowed it to physically work through me, you know. Perhaps I write sometimes, but that's mostly mental. I've done some automatic writing, so I guess perhaps maybe a little bit. But 2 nights ago or 2 days ago, I entered a deep meditative state and I said the words, work through my body. And I started to go into a dance. The best way I can describe it, and Tam C, you would know this. The old, I should have looked this up before I did this. The old Hindu texts, the old Hindu drawings, the sculptures of different entities engaging in various mudras, and the dances that they would do, Krishna, Shakti. That's what I went through 2 days ago. It was about 20 minutes of, I guess, my higher self channeling a movement, through me that I had no control of. And I was very aware when I did have control, because the movement stopped. When I regained control of my muscles, my spine, my nervous system, I wouldn't move. And then I would have to say it again, okay, take over now, and then the movement would begin. And usually when you're moving, you know what you're doing. I did not know what I was doing during this, outside of knowing that this was some sort of dance. My hands would go up and down in mudras, and my spine would move. Oh, you retracted your message, Tam? Okay. Anyhow, so last night I sat down again, and because the mind plays games, I was hyper aware. I couldn't wait to experience this again. So again, I gave my higher self the okay, the green light to work through my body. And it was hard because I could not let my higher self in fully, because I was very aware of what I was doing. It channeled, at some point I really, really relaxed, and I let go again of my muscle control. And I channeled for another 5 minutes, I would say, another movement. And then it stopped because, again, I tensed up, and it was very interesting to go through this. Union of Shiva, divine masculine, and Shakti, divine feminine, within the body feels like an energetic orgasm. Well, I wasn't doing that. But it was, I guess what I'm trying to tell you is, as you allow more of your light in, more of your light will stay in you, and it's going to manifest itself in different ways. So I get messages a lot now, the realm of the mind, like I spoke from the higher realms. And emotionally, I've embodied, the energy of love, the energy of Christ consciousness. I'm working towards that sort of universal love for humanity, and knowing that we are all one. But now it's coming in the physical realm as well, in my own movements. So that's an advanced stage that I only hit 2 days ago after 5 years of meditation. And I just wanted to share all this with people, including the people who think Iman's crazy. Poor girl, we feel so sorry for her, including them. But meditation for me started awful. It was horrible. I hated it. I fought against it. Then I kept going back and committed to it. Then I reached a point where I enjoyed it. And now I'm at a point in my life where I cannot go a day without meditating, because it is such a joyous, beautiful experience. And that's why I'm here. How long did it take me to say all that? 20 something? No? 34 minutes. 34 minutes to say all that. So that's what I wanted to share with you. For the folk who poo-poo meditation, for the folk who know nothing about meditation and are interested in it, and for the folk who meditate. I just wanted to share because it's, again, it's a very personalized experience. Like when you have sex with someone you love, you don't go out and tell people how you had sex and what you did and what was the position, and they came and I came, and you don't do that. For me, meditation is sex with my higher self. There you go. There you go. Amazing. That's how we should sell meditation to the world. It would sell because sex sells. I'm going to name that tier sex tier in my Patreon. Orgasm tier. Oh my God, everyone will subscribe to it. That's it. Meditative orgasm tier. What do you guys think? Anyhow, sorry, I'm being silly now. My own family now thinks I am literally losing my mind. But that's spirituality, Tam. In spirituality, once you reach the point where, and it's not like, it's not from an egoic perspective. Like, we don't talk this way and like we're being condescending to other people, which is what other people do to us, unfortunately. But in spirituality, once people think you've lost your mind, once you reach that point, there's no going back. There's only continuing ahead, because you know that you're on the right path, which is your path, and there is just no turning back. It's too late to turn back at this point, so might as well keep on. That's when you know you are getting ready. You're getting ready for your big day, where everything you've ever wanted manifests before you. But you have to stay the course. You have to stay the course. For me, it doesn't hurt me that people think I'm crazy. I don't get upset, because people have always, in every part of the world that I've lived, when I was in Saudi Arabia, my family, like, I was horrible. Like, they didn't just think I was crazy. They saw me as a problem. And now that I'm in Canada, you know, the average Canadian probably would see me as crazy, and they see me as, you know, problematic, because I question things, because I do things that are outside of the box. I mean, everybody loves the box, you know? Everyone likes to stay in their little box. And Canadians love it, the bubble. It's a bubble here in Canada. During COVID, we had bubbles. That's how much Canadians love their bubble. I'm not trying to shit on Canadians. God love them. They mean well. But they need to wake up. They need to wake up. And that's it. I was going to do a tarot reading, but I feel like it's going to be too much. So I'm going to put my tarot cards away for another day. And I am super duper excited, because I ordered a whole bunch of stuff that I can't afford to do an ASMR video. And that ASMR video, I'm thinking, is going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one, and I'm not going to tell you anything about it, other than I think you're going to like it. I'm going to film it this weekend. It's going to be uploaded to my Patreon first, and then I'll release it to the world of YouTube so I can get my under 100 views. And a bunch of people can shit on me. Because that's the way it rolls. All right. Thank you so much for watching this live stream. Please give it a like. Please consider subscribing if you're not subscribed. And visit my Patreon page. It's fun. You might want to look at the meditation or the orgasm tier. I might actually go ahead and change the name and see. But yeah, thank you so much. I enjoy coming on here. So we'll see. Maybe I'll do another live before Sunday or on Sunday or not. Any questions for me before I leave? Tam. Any questions? All right. Thanks again for watching, and I uh, I hope, you know, that if you don't meditate and you watch this very, very entertaining rant about meditation, that you'd consider it. Namaste. Namaste.